weight of the heart. Ethan Cole had always been the quiet one at Iron Pulse Gym. Years ago, he was the guy who kept his hoodie on, headphones in, and eyes down. Back then, he carried more weight in his belly than in his arms, and more self-doubt than confidence. But something changed. Maybe it was the mirror. Maybe it was the way people looked through him. Maybe it was just time. 3 years later, Ethan stood 6'1", broad-shouldered, carved like marble, and still quiet. He trained alone, methodically, like a sculptor chipping away at stone. The gym was his sanctuary, even if it wasn't always welcoming. Iron Pulse was owned by a woman named Riley. She was magnetic, not just beautiful, but sharp, driven, and surrounded by a clique of friends who seemed to orbit her like satellites. Her crew of girlfriends were toned, loud, and often cruel in the way people are when they think they're untouchable. Then there were the 4 bodybuilder guys, all bulk and bravado, who trained together like a pack. They all knew Ethan. They didn't talk to him, but they knew him. One Thursday evening, the gym buzzed with energy. Riley and her friends were laughing, clustered around the leg press. Ethan had just finished his deadlifts. He wiped his hands, took a breath, and walked over. "Hey, Riley," he said, voice steady. "Would you want to grab coffee sometime?" The laughter stopped. Her friends turned, eyes wide, smirking. "Oh my God," one of them whispered. "He's serious." "Riley's out of your league, dude," another chimed in. Riley blinked, caught off guard. I don't think so," she said, trying to sound casual. "I'm not really dating right now." The 4 guys nearby overheard and burst into mocking laughter. One flexed dramatically, another mimed Ethan's walk. It was a circus. Ethan nodded once. "Got it," he said, and walked away. He didn't come back the next day or the next week or the next month. Instead, Ethan built his own gym in his garage. He ordered racks, plates, mirrors, even a squat cage. He trained harder than ever, not out of spite but out of clarity. He didn't need their approval. He didn't need their space. He needed peace. 4 months passed. Riley noticed. She hadn't seen Ethan in forever. At first, she didn't care. Then she wondered, then she worried. She remembered his face after she said no. Not angry, not broken, just quiet. One evening, she found his old membership form in the system. It had an address. She drove there. Ethan answered the door in a black tank top, sweat still glistening on his arms. His garage behind him looked like a professional training facility. He was bigger now, sharper, but his eyes were the same. "Riley?" he asked. I hadn't seen you," she said. "I wanted to make sure you were okay." He nodded slowly. "I'm good." They talked. Not about the gym, not about the coffee, just about life. She laughed more than she expected. He listened more than she was used to. Weeks later, Riley's grandmother passed away. She was devastated. She went to her friends. They shrugged. "That sucks," one said, already scrolling through her phone. She went to the gym. One of the bodybuilder guys gave her a half-hearted sorry, then went back to benching. She sat in her car, hands trembling, and drove to Ethan's. He opened the door and saw her face. "I didn't know where else to go," she said. He didn't ask questions. He just let her in. They sat on the couch. She talked. He listened. She cried. He held her hand. Eventually she leaned into him and he wrapped his arm around her. They didn't speak for a long time. Outside, the world kept spinning. Inside, something shifted. Not in the way of fairy tales, not in declarations or fireworks, but in the quiet weight of the heart.